this project, all you need is an ampersand aqua board, or you can use regular cotton watercolor paper if that's what you have, and it'll work just fine. I have here just a 4x4 inch aqua board. It's basically a clay board with a surface that's compatible with watercolor painting. And I'm going to start by sketching on two little fish. You can put the fish anywhere you want. Just try to make a design that's pleasing to you. To sketch a koi fish, it's quite easy. You just need to draw a simple curved shape for the body with a tail fin and a couple of side fins. We're not aiming for perfection here. With this design, we're just going to make it super simple and just enjoy painting the bright colors. You might have to erase to get this exact shape you want. I wanted my tail to be just a little skinnier. And then I'm adding on a little side fin and then the smaller fin towards the tail. My second fish is going to be a similar shape as the first one, but slightly turned towards the first fish. Again, I just start with a curved shape for the head, add a little side fin, and then just curve the body around, add a little tail, and complete the shape. Taking clean water, carefully paint all around your fish, just avoiding the inside of your pencil lines. You'll want to use a round brush for this so that you can be extra accurate with where you put your water. Remember that where your water goes, the paint will go too. You can re-wet some areas if you want the paint to flow even more. Once you have a nice glossy surface all around your fish, you can begin painting on the water. I'm using Phthalo Blue by Core, and I'm going to start with this because it's such a beautiful, brilliant blue. And I'm just dabbing it in on my wet aquaboard surface. You can see it just begins to bloom and spread. I am carefully painting around the fish again, but still for the most part I'm keeping my brush strokes very loose and I'm not being too particular about where the paint goes. I'm now grabbing some indigo for a little darker value in my water. It's totally up to you how you want to design your colors and shapes here. My third blue color is turquoise blue. This one is a little bit more cool, has little hints of green in it, and adds a beautiful vibrant touch to our water. If you want the paint to spread and blend effectively, you'll have to work fast while your surface is still wet. The lovely thing about the aquaboard is that it lends itself very well to these kind of blotchy, blooming shapes on the surface. Normally when you're watercolor painting, you want to try to avoid blooms and using too much water because that can actually look really messy on a painting. But with this one, we're not really going for that. Allow the paint to bloom and bleed as much as you want, use as much water as you want, and just see what happens. Adding little dollops of indigo here and there. It's so much fun to see where the paint and water are going to go. Just follow your own intuition and add as many colors as you want in the water. You can even manufacture some round shapes of droplets. The idea here is just to create a design that makes you happy, and once you're happy with your design, let it dry before painting the fish. Now that the water is dry, we can come back and paint our koi fish. We're going to use the same method of wet in wet. Be sure to change your water before you start painting your fish. I'm starting the same way I did with the water. I'm going to wet the inside of the fish with clean water using a smaller brush, and again, very carefully painting inside of my lines. Because we have to work fast with wet and wet, we're only going to do one fish at a time. I'm now taking some transparent orange and painting it in. There's no right or wrong way to paint a koi fish. You can drop orange or red or yellow anywhere you want inside of the fish and it will still look like a koi fish. It is important to leave a little strip along the back to indicate the very top fin on the fish. I'm just adding a brighter red spot on the right side and darkening up along the head. If you're not sure how a koi fish should look, it's easy enough just to Google it and find a coloring and design that you like. I'm going to add a touch of lemon yellow to the left fin and the top of the head. And you can also come back once your water is dry and clean up some of the edges a little bit. Moving on to our second fish, I'm going to start the same way by painting inside of the fish with clean water. Make sure that you're using a round brush that's small enough so that you can effectively paint inside of these tiny lines. While your surface is still wet, grab another color and just drop it in. I'm using cadmium red this time, and you can see it's just blooming nicely inside of that wet surface. Now you can see that my water overlapped a little bit, and so if that happens, just take a clean damp brush and pull the color out. I'm pulling or lifting a little bit of paint out of the back of the fish, again to indicate that fin on the very top of our fish. And just darkening up the top of the head. Clean up your edges as needed. And if you want to add one last little detail, take a dark color off your palette and paint in tiny indications of eyes. If you want to, you can also add a few more colors to the background in the water if you're still not happy with your shapes. I decided to darken the left top corner one more time with some more indigo. If you're using a quality paper or an aquaboard, this should be no problem to add more layers on top. Couple more droplets and I think it'll be done. My goal here is to have a lovely and balanced composition. And there we go. There's our finished koi fish design. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here. Thank you so much for watching.